Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering episode 7 of the new Scooby-Doo movies, and this episode is Sandy Duncan's Jekyll and Hyde, and it originally aired on October 21st, 1972. This episode sees the gang on the set of a movie where a movie studio is about to be torn down after they finish up wrapping a film starring Sandy and Duncan, and that film is like the second remake of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I didn't know much about Sandy going into this episode other than she was on a sitcom that I used to enjoy as a kid. It was called Hogan's Family. It used to be called Valerie's Family, and then the lead actress Valerie Harper left and Sandy Duncan took over. It starred a young Jason Bateman. He's probably the biggest star to come out of that series, and I really loved that series as a kid. And I remember Sandy Duncan just being really cool on that show. And I remember my mom, when I asked her, who is Sandy Duncan? She's like, oh, she played Peter Pan. And I also remember Sandy Duncan from the first season of The Muppet Show. And you can watch that first season on Disney Plus if you want to see more of Sandy Duncan. And it's a really good episode too. Sandy would also return to this series on season 2 of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. She returned in 2020, but I don't think they aired the episode until 2021. I haven't watched it yet. I will when it's released on DVD. They've only released the first season on DVD. I don't have television anymore, so I can't watch it. But I'm excited to watch what they do with that episode because I understand it's a remake or a sequel to this very episode. And it's cool that it's happening like 49, 50 years later. Anyway, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get on with the review. The episode begins with the gang at Mammoth Studios where the studio is about to be torn down so a super duper market can be put in its place. Shaggy is excited as they are remaking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as the first 2 movies they made were too scary for him.
I'm sure glad they're making Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde again.
And this is the last movie they will be filming at the studios before they tear it down. As the Mystery Machine drives about the studio set, a ghostly man runs out and scares Freddy, causing him to get his Mystery Machine stuck. The gang need help getting the Mystery Machine back on the road, so they wander about the movie set.
We're stuck.
What was that thing anyway?
Hearing some cries for help, they go investigate and see Sandy Duncan running down the lot. Sandy explains that a ghost lunged at her and frightened her.
We need help to get the car back on the bridge.
Help! Help!
Sandy Duncan!
Help! Help! Somebody help me! Who's acting? Not me!
I think I'm wrong.
We also meet Shirley Dencian, who is Sandy's stunt double, and she's also a dead ringer for Daphne with her red wig on. We also meet Mr. Thayer, the head of the studio, and the director, Mr. Van Henstone. The male lead is Duke Johnson, who we meet, and we see stuntman Slats as well, who is his stunt double.
It lunged at me. That's when I ran into you. Oh, this is Shirley Dennison. She's my stand-in and does the most fantastic stunts. Mr. Thayer's the head of the studio, and this is our director, Mr. Van Henstone.
I must have more fog.
And that's Duke Jason. Over there is Slats, his stand-in stuntman.
Sandy then dons her red wig and we get a trio of Daphnes. Sandy explains that there have been a lot of accidents and fires causing trouble among the set, which is so weird as it is about to be torn down in a week. Why would someone cause havoc now when the place is gonna be shut down? Everyone is getting suspicious of each other, and Shirley, being the gossip girl she is, explains all of the gossip. She says the studio head Thayer wants the publicity, the director Henstone wants to save money, and stuntman Slats hates Duke Jason, the lead.
It's just kind of mysterious. Electrical power going out, the fire in the park section. We're days over schedule.
The whole lot was supposed to have been torn down a week ago to make way for the supermarket.
If Daphne were wearing the same dress, you couldn't tell the 3 of them apart.
Except Daphne's hair is her own.
Yeah, because it's a very unhappy set. Thayer wants publicity. Henstone's saving money. Slats hates Duke, and with the exception of Miss Adorable here, we're really a Marvy group.
Shirley, I wish you wouldn't talk like that.
I can't resist a dozen answers.
I love Sandy Duncan.
Freddy thinks something suspicious is going on as well, and Velma thinks he's right as the ghost tried to stop them from getting onto the set. Another freak accident occurs where a lamp nearly kills Sandy. Scooby sees that the ghost was behind the trouble, but no one else saw this ghost except for Scooby.
Destruction!
Help! Help!
What happened?
Hey, what happened?
This crazy mutt just saved my life.
Somebody rigged this to fall on Sandy.
Shirley, the stunt woman, is upset about this danger, so she storms off the set.
I'm with him. I think it was rigged. I'm getting out of here, and I advise you to do the same. You can do it without me.
And then we get Daphne, who is voluntold that she now has to be the stand-in for Sandy Duncan.
Where are we going to find another stunt girl and stand-in for Sandy?
Oh, no, not me.
Oh, Daphne, you're perfect.
The night has gone on too late, so they plan on reshooting in the morning. In the meantime, the gang split up to look for clues. The first clue they find is that the mystery machine is now unstuck and it's parked facing in the out direction.
Not only did somebody get it unstuck, but they've headed it in a very certain direction. Out!
Shaggy takes this as a sign to hightail it out of there, but Freddy insists on staying. The gang then interrogates Scooby on what he saw earlier, and Scooby acts out that he saw the ghost. As Scooby continues to explain this, a secret lever is pulled by the ghost and it sends Shaggy and Scooby into a secret tunnel. Scooby and Shaggy head down the tunnel and they come out in a desert set where they are chased by a man in a sheik costume. Running across various sets, Scooby and Shaggy encounter a mummy, a mechanical lion, and some other oddities. Freddy and Daphne have some hijinks on a pirate ship where a pirate tries to capture them. They then run through a rural Chinese village where they encounter a fire-breathing dragon. Velma is off on her own in a Philadelphia set where the pirate has made his way over to snatch her. After being chased, she comes across Freddy and Daphne on the pirate set, where they get on a boat and they land on an Alaskan winter landscape movie set. Here, everyone regroups with Scooby and Shaggy, and they are chased by a bear. After getting away on a sled, they are back on the Wild West set. After spending the night, the gang head back to the main movie set and explain how they were chased by so many weird characters.
So, when we got here this morning and none of you were here, I insisted we search for you.
We'll keep a close watch on everybody and everything till you get the picture finished. Okay, gang, stakeout time.
Filming starts up again and Freddy stakes out the set to ensure nothing is going to go afoul. Sandy is shooting the main scene where Mr. Hyde, played by Duke Jason, and his stuntman Slats, makes his appearance. And we shift to Daphne having a struggle with a third actor dressed as Mr. Hyde.
Good luck, Daphne.
Thank you.
A ransom note. He kidnapped Daphne because he thought she was me. Look. Stop sale of studio if you ever want to see Sandy Duncan again. Oh, this is terrible. What are we going to do?
Call the police.
Daphne is kidnapped and a ransom note is found where it says they need to stop filming if they ever want to find Sandy Duncan again. Thayer calls the police and the rest of the gang, along with Sandy, go off to search for Daphne. Scooby finds a secret passage that brings them to an underground staging area and storeroom. Scooby and Sandy also get separated from the gang, which makes Scooby quite happy as he has a mad crush on Sandy. Sandy discovers the newspapers where the ransom notes were cut from.
This is the property room where they keep all the props. You! That's where the you came from in the ransom note. And all the other words came from these. That means the note was made here.
More shenanigans occur and we find Daphne on a castle ski mountain set.
Now, here you are, and here you will stay till they meet my demands. And they'll have to, because no one will find you. Mere children with a stupid dog.
Our final chase scene brings us to the mausoleum and Sandy Duncan comes up with the final trap. The gang capture Mr. Hyde and it's revealed to be Zalia Zed Fairchild, a silent film actor who disappeared decades ago and has been living on the movie set.
Xavier Z. Fairchild, one of the biggest stars of silent pictures.
He's been living here all these years, Mr. Thayer, just wanting to stay in the only world he's ever known. Only because he didn't want the studio to be torn down. Nobody was really hurt. Couldn't we help him? There must be some work, something he can do.
Instead of arresting him, Sandy suggests they try to help him. Sandy argues that Zelia Zed Fairchild really did no harm other than, kidnapping Daphne, starting fires on the set, and trying to flatten her with a lamppost.
Thank you, dear child. You will have my eternal gratitude, Mr. Thayer. That's all right. We can discuss money later.
And of course, Zalia Zed Fairchild is happy with this solution. With another mystery solved, Scooby plans to go off with Sandy until Scooby finds out she'll be filming a movie in Africa with lions, tigers, alligators, rhinos, and boa constrictors. Scooby figures he'd rather deal with ghosts along with the gang instead of all these dangerous animals. I give this episode a 6 out of 10. I was originally thinking 5.5, but Sandy, she won me over. This episode isn't bad, and it shows a side of the gang that I enjoy where they just act like kids. Most of this episode is just the gang kind of walking around, but it's not very exciting. There isn't, I think every good episode has a great villain. That's what made The Lion King so great. You had Scar, right? Scar made The Lion King great. This episode doesn't have a great villain, although I do like his backstory at the end, but you don't find out about that until like the very end. I think they could have done a lot more with this villain. Otherwise, you just get like a lot of stock villains like the Mummy, and we get the Native American again, and we get a robot lion, and just a lot of stuff they throw in. The ghost they had at the start was cool, but he kind of disappears and we get just random pirates, and it wasn't that good for me. I like a good solid villain all throughout my episode, I guess. Overall, this episode also had more in common with like the Phantom of the Opera versus Jekyll and Hyde because, you had this guy who just appeared and he's living on the movie set, which could be, another version of the Phantom of the Opera could be the Opera House, right? Just same sort of theme there. Like I said too, Sandy, she wasn't in this episode that much, but I think that worked for this. She didn't interfere. She just had enough screen time to be pleasant, and she found the clues versus Daphne finding the clues. I did like the fact that Daphne got kidnapped. It's always fun when Daphne gets kidnapped. It's a Scooby-Doo trope that I love, and I think we all love. But yeah, I think Sandy did a great job. She was very fun, and I can see why Scooby-Doo has a big crush on her. She's very cute in this episode. Like I said, I did enjoy this episode. 6 out of 10. I don't think I'll ever rewatch it. It's just not my thing. It's just too much of funny, too much comedy, not enough spookiness, and I think I'll forget this once I finish my review and upload it. But if Funny Scooby-Doo is your thing and you like fun episodes, give this one a watch. Once again, I want to thank you for any likes, views, subscribes, and shares. Again, the point of my videos is just to promote Scooby-Doo. Not that it needs my promotion, but I just want to get people, watching old Scooby-Doo episodes. And, I just want to share Scooby-Doo with people. And when I do my rankings of my videos, you'll be allowed to leave a comment. I can't have you leave comments on these videos because just the laws, the way the law works, kids aren't supposed to comment on videos, and because I show clips of cartoons, it could show intent that a kid would be interested in this more than an adult, and just legal obligation. So when I do my reviews, I don't show any cartoon clips, so people can't leave comments, and I won't get sued. So look for that in a couple of weeks where you can comment, and I'll be doing my ranking of season 1 for that video. And yeah, like I said, I just want to promote Scooby-Doo and just keep Scooby-Doo on people's minds. Not that Scooby-Doo needs it. Scooby's been around for 51 years, and Scooby will probably be around for hopefully hundreds of more years. It's a far cry, you think, that he might not make it that far, but 51 years, you're halfway there, Scooby. Anyway, until next week when we will be covering The Secret of Shark Island, stay spooky.